So I'd like to welcome everybody to our annual World's Eligibility and Compliance webinar. This, as we said before, will be recorded for those people that were not able to join us. Hopefully you can see what's on the screen because we do have slides and information that we'll be sharing with you. All right, so the whole idea of this webinar is to give you some tips to set yourself up for success. You know, as they say, knowledge is power, but what's more powerful is knowing how to use that knowledge or where to get the knowledge so that you're ready to go. So that being said, I've got some tips for you to get started. The first thing I want to do is suggest that you use the resources at your fingertips, and I mean that literally and figuratively. We have lots of information that's available online, or you were given information when you received your World's bid, so make sure you take advantage of all that information. Secondly, read all the information that is available. We spend a lot of time putting together bid acceptance packets, letters to be sent out, emails, a website, so just make sure you read everything that's presented to you because we believe we've done a pretty good job of making sure at least the information's there available to you if you wanted to seek it out. Get a jump on it and don't wait to do things. Worlds, as we keep getting reminded with the videos that our communications team and social media teams are putting out, is 24, 25 days away. So let's make sure that we're on top of it and not losing track of time to get everything done we need to get done. And then ask questions when you aren't sure. It's much better to have one of your questions that you thought was right confirmed that it was right and you're headed down the right road, rather than thinking you're headed the right way and then finding out at your roster check appointment that something isn't the way you believed it to be. So you've been getting emails from your regional director, and on the screen I've got their names and their email addresses. If you haven't been getting emails from them, a couple of things. Number one, you might not be listed as the official contact on the bid acceptance forms. So you might not be the person getting it. Somebody else in your organization might be getting that information, but somebody should be getting it. If nobody's been getting it, you need to contact the regional director to make sure that you're brought up to speed on what's been sent out. The email that's been sent out has it's a congratulations email with kind of a list of things to do and some important reminders. Most importantly, they're telling you in this email to go to the Championship Information Center. This is different than in the past. In the past, there was a link in the email and you went to that spot and clicked it. But with the onset and the opening of our new community, we've been putting all of the information for our members inside the community so that they can access it. So there are instructions on the right-hand side that tell you how to access it. I'm going to walk you through those steps really quickly. So basically, you're going to log into your member portal. So you go to usasfmembers.net. When you log in, make sure you're logged in as the coach and not the program. In the top right-hand corner, you'll find your name, and there's always a drop-down box. Next to that, once that opens, you'll want to go to click on where it says Visit USASF Community Website. What it will do is it will open up, and this will be your dashboard. So across the top, there's all sorts of menu items. The one that we want you to focus on now is the one that says Worlds. There's a drop-down box. Then you'll go and click on Championship Information Center. That will bring you to this page, and it will look a little familiar if you've been to Worlds before and you've been the person that's been doing the paperwork or the processing. It takes you through a list of things that you want to make sure that you have completed, and then listed below, all of these correspond to the information that's above with some additional information. And all you have to do is click any one of these to open or close it, and it will give you some more information. The other thing we want to do is we've created a Worlds community for discussions. So you want to make sure you get added to the Worlds community. And this is for coaches and owners. Personnel are not in the community. So there are some people probably on this webinar that are team moms or registration specialists for their program. So we do have ways for you to access information. You're just not a part of the actual community that may be having conversations. But if you're in that situation, we can work with your program owner to figure out ways for you to still be able to get some of the information or where you would access that. We will we have put everybody that was a contact person on the bid list already in the community. So there are people that have been populated in the community already. We're going to take the emails from the GoToWebinar registrants. So anybody that's on this call or register for this call, we'll go ahead and we will add you after we verify that you have a team that's going to Worlds. So there's going to be a little bit of work on our part to do that. We're also going to create an online form where people can request to be added to the community for Worlds cheer and dance coaches. But again, we can only put in emails that are already associated to coaches or owners in profiles. But we'll create that form and we'll make that link available. When in doubt, just email your regional director, ask them either to add you to the community or if you're eligible for the community. And if not, then we can brainstorm some other ideas or ways for you to get the assistance that you need. And as I said before, there'll be a verification process. We can't add anybody to that specific discussion group in the community without them already having access through their member portal. This is just a quick look for what the Worlds community looks like or how you would get in there. So again, you would log into your member portal and you would go to the community just the same way that you found the Championship Information Center, but this time you would click on communities and then click on the drop down that says My Communities, and it would bring you to a page that looks like this. From here, you can either click on the Cheerleading and Dance Worlds or you can click on Discussions. I prefer to click on Discussions since that's where I want to go. And it will take you to a screen that looks like this. And basically, it will have in here threads, subject threads, things that have been already posted there. You can click on it, open it, read it. You can reply to a message right inside there. If there is not a subject already created and you have a question or you want to make a comment, just click on Post New Message, put it in there, and it will start a new thread for you. But there are a lot of times that somebody else has asked a question or made a comment. So if the subject may be related to the question you're asking, you probably want to go read it first and do that. But if it doesn't meet your needs, go ahead and click Post New Message and somebody will respond and answer that for you. The other thing that we try to have everybody do is read their entire bid packet front to back every year. Those people that have been to Worlds year after year, a lot of times don't open the packet. And then we find we're getting questions or they simply did not know the answer to a question. And the problem with that is that a lot of times it's in the packet. So if you would take the time to read the packet, you may find out some new information for you. The next thing you want to do is make sure you read your final letter. So if there was information in the bid packet that may have changed, pickup locations or registration information or whatnot, the final letter will have everything that is up to date and current in those spots. It is typically sent the week before everybody would leave for Worlds, so I would expect it the week of April 16th to the email listed in your event registration portal. So again, when you're registering for the event, those are the email addresses that are being used to send information to. It is very detailed by either the specific hotel you're staying at on Disney property or for commuters. So the information is specific to the package you're on. It also contains event information throughout there. And then make sure you share the pertinent pieces with your families. A lot of times, if you would send that letter out or the first 3 or 4 pages or whatever it is, you can look at what you want to share with your families. That will answer a lot of questions for them before they get there, and it'll prevent them from trying to text you or call you when they're confused. The one thing that we've been told is when you show up, if you have a copy of your invoice or your registration confirmation with you, especially your parents who registered themselves, if they have that with them, it will help their registration and check-in process go much quicker if you had them do information outside of the program. One of the things that you need to know is that this year at Worlds, there will be no coaches meetings or those question and answer sessions at Worlds. So we would hold them and wouldn't have a huge attendance. However, the people that did come had questions. So what we want to do is any questions you have, bring them with you to your roster check appointment. If you've already been to your roster check appointment and you have another question, just come back to the USASF office and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. We will have some FAQs available. There will be videos, so this video will be available, plus we are going to make a couple more videos that are specific to right when you arrive on property, where you should go, what you should do, what you should pick up. And then if you're in a venue and the event has already started and you've got some questions, every venue has a coach's information desk, a place where there is USASF staff that can answer your questions specific to the event. So again, we'll go back to how you get your answers. So you'll read and pay attention, your regional director or your reservation specialist. So typically, to know who to ask the questions to, your regional director is going to be able to answer the questions about eligibility, rostering, and event flow. Your reservation specialist is going to be specific to the event registration, anything that has to do with payments, Disney, and housing. So that can help you. But when in doubt, send your regional director the question. If they can't help you, they'll tell you that that's a question for your reservation specialist. But we'll do our best to help you out and get you all the answers that you need.
All right, let's move on to eligibility. Let's talk about the athletes first and what their requirements are. So first of all, every athlete that is going to be with you at Worlds needs to be on a roster. So either they are either an original team member or they are a replacement. So the original team members were those people that were on the team's event roster where the bid was received. And then you've got replacements, which are specific to the team size, and depending if you're cheer or dance, that will tell you how many replacements you're allowed to have. So in cheer, those are set hard numbers based on the size of your team. In dance, it is a percentage of your team, and we round those numbers up. But basically, when you're looking at the number of people that you can replace, let's say the number is 6 for you. You can replace 6 of your original team members with substitutes, and those are any other athlete that was on a team from your program that was at the event where the bid was received. So you took other teams with you. There are athletes that are age eligible. They may serve as substitutes. Of those 6, you have up to 3 that can be what we call alternates or wildcard alternates. So those did not have to be registered with your program at the time of the event. They didn't need to be at the event. So if you're going to replace 6 of your original team members and you are using 3 wildcards, you are only allowed to have 3 additional substitutes. Your regional director can help you with this if you have any questions, and it's best to make sure that that you ask the questions ahead of time so that we don't end up at Worlds with an ineligible athlete on your roster. Second, you've got to make sure that if there's an athlete that competed with a different team November 1st or later, you're required to have what is called a gym release waiver. Most of your athletes will not need these. These are just for athletes that were with a different team or a different program. They've left that program and they're coming to your program. Also, if you've got a foreign athlete, somebody that is not a U.S. citizen, we've got to verify that they can have legal participation on your team. And basically, the country must know they're here, and then the document must recognize them as a legal resident of the United States. We suggest you get approval before you build your roster, and just send those emails directly to me at aclark@usasf.net, and I can help you through that process, because you want to make sure you have the right documentation. And the last thing is, for an athlete to be eligible, they need to have a photo ID that they can use at Worlds. It needs to be a government-issued ID with the picture on it and their date of birth, a state ID, a driver's license, a passport, and we also do accept military ID cards. So that's not listed on the slide, but again, state IDs, driver's license, passport, and military IDs. Now, what I did want to do is show you this, the gym release waiver. Sometimes people get confused and think that they need to bring the event waiver to the roster appointments, which is not the case. Any waiver that you were given in the registration packet or the bid packet must be sent in to your reservation specialist. The gym release waiver is just for those athletes that competed on a team November 1st or later. and now we're going to be competing with you. This is what the form looks like, and it's available in the quick links in the community.
So now let's talk about the coach and owner eligibility. First, let's talk about their membership. So for a coach or an owner to be eligible to participate at Worlds, they would need to make sure that their membership is paid, or if they are an owner, most times they don't actually have to pay for membership. They can have a waived membership as long as their program's membership has been paid. So just as long as they've got the membership, we're good to go. Also, they need to have their green light background check. So they need to be a professional member of the USASF. And so what we've always done is anybody that has either a paid membership or waived membership and a green light background check, we refer to them as a professional member. They need to be listed on the roster, and they must show as eligible in the coach profile. Now, this is for cheer only. So dance coaches, just bear with us for a moment. For credentialing, there are specific credentialing requirements. New for the 2018 World Championships for cheer, the program must be covered in both categories. So there must be coverage on the roster showing that both building and tumbling for the level of the team. So in the past, we've had quite a few programs who have only had coaches credentialed in tumbling. We, as the governing organization, need to make sure that you have coaches that are covering your team that are credentialed in both, because you do both building and tumbling at the World Championships. So level 5 teams need to have both building and tumbling in level 5. Level 6 teams will have building in level 6 and tumbling in level 5. This can be a combination of 2 coaches where each is with one skill set. One person's in building, the other person's in tumbling. Or you can have one coach that has both skill sets. So as long as you have that as a minimum, you'll be good to go to add any of the coaches. So the coaches to be added to the roster, a singular coach can have either tumbling or building, as long as the team is covered in tumbling and building. It must expire 7/31/2018 or later, and it needs to be completed prior to arriving. If you wait to do your credentialing till you get to World, there is an on-site credentialing fee of $500. And then if you did not make an appointment prior to needing to be credentialed at Worlds, there is an additional $200 fee for getting done at Worlds. And our staff is happy to help you get it done prior to Worlds. There are some deadlines in place, but if you are in this position and your credentialing has expired, please contact your regional director so that they can help you through this process. If you are cycle 3 or 4 and your credentialing has expired, understand that everything is done online, but it does take about 4 to 5 hours to get completed because there are several components that need to be completed: the PCA, ASEP, and then your online written test. So one of the things that we do also on the cheer side, and this doesn't pertain to dance because you don't have the credentialing requirement, we do have an option for a non-coaching owner to enter the warm-up room. This is a courtesy, and we will allow a non-coaching owner to accompany a cheer team into the warm-up room if they meet the eligibility requirements of the paid or waived membership and they have the green light. So in essence, they're eligible for the season. The team meets the new credentialing requirements, and they're accompanied by a credentialed coach who meets the credentialing requirements. So a program, a team, can't enter the warm-up room with just an owner that's not credentialed. So you have to have a credentialed coach that has both, and then the owner would be allowed to accompany them in the warm-up room. It's important to note that this person is an observer in the warm-up room. Active coaching is not permitted. If the owner is also a coach, they must be credentialed. So owners who also coach have to meet the same requirements with the credentialing. A violation of this will result in disciplinary action and penalties. So, this is about ethics and integrity, and making sure that everybody that's coaching and working with one of your teams that performs at the level that's needed at World Championships are credentialed coaches. All right, personnel. This is obviously a non-coaching position, so if somebody is a coach, they should not be listed as a personnel. They should be listed as a coach and meet those coaching requirements. They must be eligible in their program profile, which means they've paid their membership fee and they have a green light. They're listed on the personnel roster. We limit it to 1 per team at the World Championship, so you may add 1 personnel to the team. And there are no cameras or video in warm-up, so if you've got a team photographer, personnel, using your personnel spot for them to come into warm-up room is probably not the best idea because they're not allowed to video or take pictures there. All right, everybody must have an ID card to get into the warm-up room. So let's talk about the ID cards for the different categories. So the coach and owner ID cards, everybody should order a new ID card this season. We only will accept the ones with the blue backgrounds because those are from this year. The coaches will log into their own profile and order their own card. It's right on your dashboard. It's pretty simple to do. If you're having trouble with that, you can contact support at usasf.net, and they'll be happy to help walk you through that. These are mailed directly to the coach. Before you actually hit submit and order, make sure that you are eligible for the 2017-18 season and your credentials are correct. Especially for Worlds, you want to make sure that you want to make sure your credentials are correct, since that's one of the requirements for you to get in the warm-up room if you're a cheer coach. If you are having problem with your green light or with your credentialing, the emails are easy, greenlight@usasf.net or credentialing@usasf.net.
The personnel ID cards are ordered through the program profile. So this is different from the coaching profile. In the coaching profile, the coach logs in and orders it. For the personnel, you have to log in through the program portal, and then the program admin can order the card from there. Again, everybody should order a new card this season. We will only accept the cards with a yellow stripe across the bottom that says personnel. These are mailed directly to the program. We do this because personnel have their role in the industry based on what a program administrator or program owner has said they can do within their gym. So that is why we do it this way. Before ordering, make sure that they're eligible for the 2017-18 season, which means their membership has been paid and they have a green light background check. Again, if you're having issues, the email addresses are the same, greenlight@usasf.net or credentialing@usasf.net.
Ordering deadlines. So what we've done is the company that processes the cards for us will, any card that is ordered by April 15th should make it to you in time for Worlds. So as long as the card is ordered on or before April 15th, you should be good to go. It will either be shipped to the coach that ordered it, or it will be shipped to the program for the program to give to the personnel. If you order your card between April 16th and April 23rd, the vendor is going to ship those to us in Orlando, and those will be distributed at your roster appointment. So we'll have those there waiting for you. Anybody that doesn't order their card before the 23rd of April, there's going to be an additional fee for you. So orders that are placed on April 24th and 25th will be considered rush shipments. They will be sent to Orlando, and we will have them ready for you to be picked up at our roster check areas, just depending when we actually receive the shipment and when your roster check appointment is. If your program has already done their roster check appointment, you may have to come back and pick them up. And for every card that's in the rush shipment, there will be a $10 fee. And then for anybody who loses their card, forgets their card, or never ordered their card, we will be able to make you temporary IDs on site at Worlds at the USASF roster check areas. So wherever that may be, at Coronado, it'll be in one of the ballrooms, and over at All-Star, it'll be in the tent. There will be a $20 fee for that. All right, athlete ID in the warm-up room. So what are the acceptable forms of identification? A valid government-issued, unexpired driver's license, state ID card, military ID, or a passport. Every time you're going to enter the warm-up room with your team, so if you end up competing Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, your team will do this 3 times. You're going to line up all your athletes in alphabetical order by last name. The athletes will have their photo ID in hand with them. Our warm-up room staff will verify the athlete's identity using the ID card, but we'll also check them off on the roster. So we'll have to make sure they're on the roster and the names match, and then that's actually the person on the ID. And then what you need to do is you need to have a plan for how you're either going to collect the IDs or you're going to instruct your athletes on how to store the IDs. What you don't want to do is walk in and then you've got all these athletes holding ID cards with no place to put them. So just make sure you have a process for collecting them or time to let them put their IDs away, and make sure you have that planned before you come. And then they'll enter the warm-up room. So what happens if they show up without proper ID? Sometimes they forget their ID in their room, which happens. So what we do is we take a picture of the athlete with all their identifier information. So on a piece of paper, they're going to write really big their name, their date of birth, the program they're with, and the team. So we're going to take a picture of that. So now we have a permanent record of who has forgotten their ID. We're going to let you take the warm-up floor and compete. After the performance is over, we must verify that the athlete was truly who they say they were before you're eligible to move on to the next round or receive an award. So if we take what we like to call the mug shots in the warm-up room, you need to come back and go through a process for us to verify that they are who they say they are. Otherwise, you will not be eligible to move on to the next round, or if you were to receive first, second, or third place, you won't be able to receive that until we go through this process. So it's best that they just have their IDs with them at the time. All right, let's talk a little bit about rosters. This process is new this year in the way that we're doing it. So you will need an official event roster. It's going to be created through your USASF profile. It must list all athletes, both active and reserve. It must list your coaches, your owners, and your one personnel. New this year, your rosters will lock on Wednesday, April 25th. So prior to this, you were given dates and deadlines that you had to associate your rosters. We then took those rosters and we had to manually check them against all of the rosters from the first event, make sure the eligible athletes were correct, the original team members, the substitutes, and the wild cards. It was sent off to the event producer. They verified it and sent it back. That is not necessary with the programming and the system we have. The system will do all of this for us. So we have the ability to leave the rosters unlocked for a longer period of time because sometimes people need to make changes up close to the event. There's an injury or whatnot. It is important that you know the rules for the rostering. So in the page 8 in the cheer packet, page 7 in the dance packet, it outlines your substitutes and your wild card alternates and whatnot. Our system is doing a good job of this. There have been a couple things that we've had to fix along the way, but in the end, you know that you cannot put a back handspring in level 1. You also know that you are only allowed to put the number of athletes that were at the bid giving event on this team, so on your roster for World. So if you competed with 19 at the bid giving event, you can only compete with 19 at Worlds. Also, based on your team size for cheer, it is a hard number of substitutes that you can put in, 4, 6, 8, or 10. For cheer, it's a percentage, but you can calculate those and you know those. Our system should stop it. I would bet that some of you will find that there is a bug somewhere that we might need to fix because we've tried a bunch of different things. We're pretty confident that everything's working, but once we go from 2 or 3 people testing it to 400 teams testing it and creating 400 rosters, sometimes there will be something that we didn't try that causes an error, and we would like to know about those so we can get those fixed. But in the end, you're responsible for making sure that you only have the number of athletes on the roster that are supposed to be there. You follow the substitute guidelines, you follow the wildcard guidelines. When in doubt, contact your regional director and we'll walk through that with you. So what you're going to do is you're going to log into your program profile. On the front of it, it shows you who has been given from your program a World's bid. Don't click decline over here unless you would like to decline your bid. So that option is left open in case somebody needs to do it, but it shows you that you've accepted your bids, where you got your bids, what teams have it. From your dashboard, you're going to go to events and click on World Bid Events. It will then take you to the World Bid Events that you went to. What you want to do is click on Teams. That will then take you to a screen where you now are going to create and schedule your team to come to Worlds. If you had already done your roster, those teams would show up in this list. And this is the screen from where then you would edit any team that appeared. So you'll click Create and Schedule Team. And what will happen is you will get an opportunity for a drop-down box. If you only have one team that received a Worlds bid, that will be the only team there. If you have several teams that receive Worlds bids, you will select them from the drop-down. Once you select them, some things are going to change on your screen. It will tell you the level of the team. It will tell you the minimum number of athletes that you must have on the floor. And then the maximum number, this should match the number of athletes that were on the floor at the bid giving event. So for the division, this team is a senior small, the maximum athletes for this division really is 22. But this team only took 15 to the event, so that's what they get. It gives you the minimum and maximum age for the athletes, and then the max substitutes. So based on the size of the team, there should be a maximum of 6 substitutes. And remember, your substitutes and wildcard alternates are put together. Anybody can only have 3 wildcards in there of their maximum substitutes. So this one would be allowed to have up to 3 wildcards plus 3 other substitutes, or they could use them all as 6 substitutes. But you would click Manage Athletes, and it's going to take you to a screen that's got 3 tabs: Original, Substitute, and Wildcard. So your original team members are those that were on the floor at the event, so you would move over just by clicking the plus any of the athletes you want to add. If you're going to use substitutes, you then go to the Substitute tab, you click on that. It will again populate all the athletes from your program that were at the event and age eligible. You can move them over. And then your wild card are all the athletes from your program that were not at the event but are age eligible, and you can add up to 3 of them as long as you didn't use up all your substitutes. And then you can move anybody once you move an athlete from one of the eligibility lists over to your roster. You can also, there will be an arrow that can move them over to it, make them a reserve athlete, and then you can move them back. Once you're done, you're going to hit save. Then it will take you back to the screen. Once the athletes are added, you will see their names listed here. Then you need to go ahead and add coach and personnel to your team. So it's the same process I just showed you for athletes. You'll click on the coach tab. It will take you to a screen. You'll add your coaches. You'll save them. Come back here. Do the same thing with personnel.
All right, let's talk about roster verification and the appointments. So the first thing you need to do is contact your regional director to make an appointment. If you haven't called them and you haven't made an appointment yet, call them today. The person that is going to come and do your roster check appointment must be an owner or a team coach listed on the roster. It is not a personnel. It is not somebody that does the registration in your office. They can come with you, but the owner or a team coach has to take ultimate responsibility for this. The appointments will be Thursday or Friday, and then they'll be done at the Coronado Springs or All-Star. So anybody that is staying at Coronado, we will do their roster check appointments at the Coronado. Anybody else, if you're staying at All-Star or you're a commuter, your appointment will be at All-Star. Things you need to bring with you. We will go through the music licensing process. You need to bring the gym release waiver for athletes from other programs. So this is not the event waiver. This is for athletes that competed with another team November 1st or later. In video 1, part 1 of this video, I've shown you what the form is and what you need to bring, because this does cause some confusion. Remember, event waivers are mailed in to your reservation specialist. If it was in the bid packet, it gets mailed in. This is just for those athletes that are leaving another program and coming to yours, and they need to get released to be allowed to do that. And then you need to bring, for anybody that is not a non-U.S. citizen, you need to bring their proof of U.S. legal residency. Then you will sign off on the official roster, and again, it is an owner or a coach only. And you'll also sign off on several policies: the warm-up, backstage and event violation, and making sure your music is compliant.
All right, let's talk about policies and expectations at the World Championship event. One of the things we wanted to bring to everybody's attention is it's on page 15 in the cheer packet, page 13 in the dance packet, and it talks about warm-up room backstage access policy. We had this conversation. I've gone over all of these things already, what makes you eligible to enter the warm-up room. If there are any violations, it talks about what the violations are. It talks about what the immediate disciplinary action is in the first offense or the second offense. There may be a team action, and then there may be a penalty for the member, whether it's an athlete, coach, or owner. Just understand that there are times where there would be a 6-point penalty for the team at the World Championships. So make sure that you understand what everything is, and that everybody is following all of the policies as they should, so that this does not happen to anybody. Then there is an agreement of compliance that needs to be signed, and so it's on pages 17 and 18 in the cheer policy, and pages 15 and 16 in the dance policy. The policy is on the pages of the bid packet, pages 17 and 18 for cheer and 15, 16 for dance. But just make sure that you read it, you go over it with your team. This is one of the ones where the actual athletes have to sign, and you have to turn it in with your registration, but just make sure you go over everything. One of the things we always talk about on this call is athlete behavior, whether it's in the venue or in the evenings over at one of our properties that our athletes are staying at, whether it's Coronado or All-Star. This is the World Championship event. It is expected that athletes will behave accordingly. There should be obviously no drinking for anybody that's under the age of 21, and making sure that it's not happening in venues or on the properties, and everybody's being respectful. But those are conversations you need to have with your team prior to them attending. Other things on your to-do list. So one of the screens that I've already showed you was a Championship Information Center. Make sure you are going through each of these items and reading them, and you are clear on everything that needs to be done, and you've taken care of it. If you need help with things, again, the information is found down below. The quick links section is going to be helpful if you're looking for forms or you're looking for information, and it should be somewhere on the website. Just click one of these links and it will take you there. If you don't know how to get a hold of your regional director, this is a great place to find that information. All right, some more reminders and announcements. There is a World mobile app. This is the official app of the championship. You'll find updates on orders of performance, daily rankings. There'll be highlight videos. There's a history page if you wanted to see who's won what division when. You can sign up for push notifications so you're instantly notified when the rankings and performance orders have been published. We will also, I think those push notifications, we had a meeting this week, will be classified and categorized. So if you're a cheer coach or a dance coach or a cheer parent or a dance parent or an athlete, there may be certain things, push notifications that would come out to you as well. And it's currently available in the App Store and the Google Play. I will post this link in the community so that you can find it, but that's where we have the information currently. I would share this with with the parents, with every coach in my gym, with the athletes, so that they have have some information, as we said earlier, right at their fingertips. Practice floor rentals. We have floors available for rent on Thursday and Friday. There is transportation provided on the resident packages from All-Star Resort. Obviously, you don't need one from Coronado because you're at the Coronado. So those teams staying at the Coronado will pay the commuter rate. There are 6 cheer floors and 6 dance floors, and we still have space available. You can find the link for that under the quick links in on the Championship Information Center page. All right. We're going to remind everybody about the appropriate surfaces rule. Cheer general rule number 5, athletes must practice, perform on an appropriate surface. Technical skills such as stunts, pyramids, tosses, or tumbling may not be performed on concrete, asphalt, wet, or uneven surfaces or surfaces with obstructions. And so we outline in here, includes all areas on property, including the resorts, competition complexes, and surrounding areas. Grass-covered surfaces must be free of moisture. An overlay of carpet on concrete is not an appropriate surface. As a rule of thumb, you should be on mats or a perfectly flat, dry, or unobstructed area, and violations can result in fines, penalties, deductions, disqualification, sanctions, and/or membership revocation.
New this year is the world's VIP reception. So it is a reception, it is a new format, it is a mixer, and there is no award ceremony like we've done in the past. It is being moved back to Friday, so we're considering it a new day. Last year it was on Thursday. This year it's on Friday, April 27th. It'll be from 7 to 9:30 p.m. It's held at the Coronado. The buses will load at 6:30 for All-Star, and this is only for people that are staying at All-Star. Commuters will need to provide their own transportation to the Coronado. Now, you must have VIP reception tickets to get on the bus or to get into the event. You are given 2 per team, and you are able to purchase extra tickets. What will happen is once you arrive, they'll exchange the ticket for a wristband. Once you're inside, just know that the bar will ask for IDs. So if you could be mistaken for a 21-year-old or you are 21, make sure that you have your ID. Anybody under 21 will not be served. There will be food, beverages, and there will still be some entertainment throughout the evening.
Level 6 credentialing, we will do a special session at Worlds this year on Thursday, April 26th. Contact your regional director for details and registration information.
All right, there is a coach without park hopper pass. So what we do is we have made available for coaches and owners who meet all of the eligibility requirements to go into the warm-up room, who are listed on the World's roster and have a USISF ID. These World's coaches can purchase a lanyard that does not include a Disney park hopper ticket. It is $150. The link for the pre-order is on the Championship Information Center page. This provides coaches entry into the World's competition venues only. Obviously, it's no park hopper, so you can't get in the parks. You can purchase one of these lanyards per USASF coach that has an ID card. Again, this is for coaches that are eligible to go in the warm-up room. So we've got to make sure that you understand that it's not just for any coach within your program. If they're not credentialed to level 5, if they're not listed on your roster, they're not eligible to have this. You will pick these up at roster verification, and we will do on-site sales also at the roster check on April 26th and 27th. Again, these are not sold through the registration specialist or picked up with the other lanyards and tickets. These are picked up at the USASF roster check area, and we suggest you pre-order these online. VIP and coaches seating. So every venue has designated seating areas. The event producers are considered VIPs, and then the coaches can also sit in that area. But again, it's eligible coaches and owners that are with a team. You must have your lanyard, and you must have your coach or your owner ID card. This area is not for personnel. Personnel will not be permitted to sit in there. Also new this year, for finals, there are no sessions or special ticketing. Now that we're able to use the arena, which is the new venue, there's 2,000 more seats than were in HP. So we don't anticipate having any overcrowding issues. So there are daily general admission tickets for Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. That's for anybody that is not on one of our packages. Anybody that is on a USASF package, whether it's a commuter package or whether it is a resident package, as long as you have a lanyard and your park hopper pass, or a lanyard and a way to get into the wide world of sports, you'll be allowed to all the sessions every day, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all day.
All right, scoring. I'm not going to do a lot of talking about scoring, but what I am going to do is let you know that there are webinars and recordings for scoring. Dance, the recordings are already online with the score sheets. There is a club divisions webinar on Monday, April 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the recording again will be posted. I can put the link for registration in the Worlds community for people to sign up. And then there will be an international divisions webinar because the scoring for the club divisions and international divisions is different. That one will be on Wednesday, April 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, that recording will be posted.
That concludes the video. Good luck to everybody, and we're excited to see you in Orlando.